Hi guys, it's Chris and Deb again from Sedan.
From sunny, hot, humid, sweaty Florida.
Yeah, but we're in air conditioned Sedan.
Yes.
What day is today?
It is
The 4th.
Monday, August 4th.
Can't believe it's August already, man. Time flies, especially when you spend 3 months in the Keys. Kind of got stuck down there. We really like the Keys. For someone who's really, for a couple that's really into the water and all the things you can do down there. Uh,
It was hard leaving.
It's hard. It was tough to leave. The one thing that we don't miss were the bugs, though. The skeeters and no-see-ums after sunset got pretty bad.
Yes, they did.
Deb's kind of prone to that.
So I think the last time we left, we were in Fort Lauderdale,
Right.
finishing up our journeys there. We did a couple more explorations. We did a dinghy trip up the New River.
Mm-hmm.
So it was kind of cool being on a river and seeing all the high-rise buildings surrounding us going up there.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, basically, it was a river surrounded by buildings and streets and noise and cars and
Lots of boat traffic.
a lot of boat traffic. Not a huge fan. Um, Lauderdale is just, I don't know, too big, too noisy.
For us,
Yeah.
especially after coming out of the Keys. Most definitely.
And expensive. I mean, the slip there was how much did we end up paying for the slip?
It was a lot because we ended up staying 14 days or something like that. But
Yeah. So whatever. If you're gonna come up this way, I would get through Lauderdale, Miami, Boca Raton, some of those other places, big city stuff, quickly, unless you're into that. Unless you're into all the noise and confusion and in big cities or whatnot. So
we actually went out exploring one night. I guess you would call it bar hopping or a crawl. And we did find the famous Elbow Room, which has been around since 1938. And it was packed with people when we were there at like probably 5 o'clock. And did a lot of fun people watching. Remember the guy dancing on the wall across in front of the beach? That was pretty funny.
yeah, it's just a bar. Just imagine your craziest college bar, two stories, strip bar poles, loud music, uh, just nasty bathrooms, that kind of a place. And it's right on the strip. And I'm sure you're familiar with Sunset Strip in Miami. Same kind of a thing. It's like you've got Fort Lauderdale Beach, and then you have a sidewalk, and then you have this street, and then on the other side of the street you have bar restaurant row, and you got all these people going up and down the street in their loud cars, revving their loud cars, motorcycles with the music cranked as loud as they can crank it. I mean, it's just
Cruising the strip.
it's a zoo.
Yeah, it was fun. It was good to go away from that. Oh, one day we did go and explore the Riverwalk in a place called the Wharf, which was a big outdoor bar.
Mm-hmm.
That was kind of fun. They had country line dance instructions and mechanical bull that you could
Right.
ride and stuff like that. And then we also went to the Hard Rock Casino, which if you've never been there in Fort Lauderdale, the building is shaped like this gigantic, huge guitar. So that was kind of cool seeing
It was.
performers' outfits and their guitars. And
I mean, Hard Rock. I'm sure you've been to Hard Rock before. It's an interesting place. We didn't gamble, but we had a nice dinner, and we found a golf simulator. So we played the first 9 holes of Pebble Beach on the golf simulator and had some fun with that. And then we Ubered back to the boat that night.
Yes, we did. Then we basically flew home for 5 or 6 days.
Mm-hmm.
And when we got back to Fort Lauderdale, it was on the 29th. And we did a couple boat errands and got a Publix Instacart delivery and got ready to take off on July 31st, which was just like last Thursday. So we had a interesting trip leaving out of Fort Lauderdale. We actually when we counted up, there were 21 bridges between Fort Lauderdale and where we wanted to stop for the night, which was north of West Palm
On the intercoastal.
on the intercoastal. And it was a gorgeous day out on the Atlantic, so we decided to bypass 21 bridges and we went out.
Yeah, we went back out and cruised along the beach, basically. You know, a couple miles out. But it was a perfect day. I mean, the water was crystal clear, super flat. Um, you know, had it up on plane for a little while, but back to back down to just 9 knots, just to enjoy the day in the water and
save some diesel.
save some diesel for sure.
Yeah,
it's
it was
better
beautiful.
Yeah, and then we kind of got there with some time to spare. We try to get into the marinas by 4 o'clock, so that way there's a crew that can help tie up the boat. Most of the marinas close at 5. This marina we're at now actually never closes. But we rolled in to right before we got here. There's some.
Well, we're still in West Palm.
Okay.
So that's where we anchored out for the night.
Oh, right.
But the cool thing, remember, we stopped on the way before we got to the inlet and we found a place so that you could jump in the water and you did a snorkel.
Right. That's what I was getting ready to talk about.
And we checked the bottom of the. I thought you were going all the way to the marina.
No. There's Breakers Reef, which is right outside the entrance, really, to this area. Was there's a Breakers Hotel that looks pretty nice, and right off there's Breakers Reef. So yeah, we dropped it. Well, we actually didn't drop anchor. We grabbed the buoy.
Woohoo! My first mooring ball.
Yeah.
On CD and being able to grab the lines. That was a new experience.
Yep. So we did that, and I snorkeled for a little bit. Deb didn't get in the water.
Nope.
Then what?
And then we went into the Lake Worth Inlet, and we went around. It's pretty famous. It's called Peanut Island, and it's just an island, and it's got beautiful sandy beach all the way around. And so this was what, Thursday? There were tons of boats just pulled up and anchored, and sea-doos, and people just out in the water enjoying the beautiful day. But we decided we didn't want to be that close to all the craziness. So we went further north, went up under a bridge and up into an area called Palm Beach Gardens or Riviera. I guess it's kind of called Riviera too. And we were on the intercoastal and we found an area that was supposed to be a good anchorage called North Lake Worth. So we did great, except when we started to pull in, we noticed all these signs that said that it was not a mooring.
Official mooring field.
It used to be. Mooring field.
It used to be a mooring field. I don't know what they did, but they cut all the moorings. So they're kind of restricting that area. I think there's some places in Florida that are starting to do that. I think a lot of that has to do with. It's unfortunate that in a lot of these mooring areas, people take their boats and just leave them. And I'm talking abandon them, right? So these boats start looking pretty bad. So I'm sure the people who have nice houses around those bays get tired of staring at all these old, used, wrecked boats. So I think they pretty much said, you know, this was right in Jupiter, which is a pretty nice part of Florida. And so I'm assuming they just had enough of this and they just cut all the mooring lines. But, you know, anchoring for a day or a night, you know, is okay as long as you're moving on, right? It's a...
We were rebels. We did call and we talked to a lady at the Safe Harbor Marina right there, and she said, since it's summer, we'd probably be okay if we were just staying one night. So.
And we did. No big deal. We had a great night that night, and then pulled up anchor the following morning and continued our journey north.
We had a fun little experience as we were leaving our anchorage too. Since we decided we were going to try the intracoastal north to get to our next destination, which was Fort Pierce, we did have to go through a couple bridges, and the bridges have schedules. So
I know where you're going now.
So the first bridge we had to get through was supposed to open at 9:15, so it opened at quarter after and quarter till. So we switched our radio over to the channel that monitors all the bridge activity, and we heard them. It was like 9:03, and we heard a sea tow boat saying, "Will you please open the bridge early? I have a boat to bring through." So we knew if we didn't get in with that sea tow barge, that it would be another 40 or 45 minutes before the bridge opened again. So we decided to hit it, and we decided to try and follow the sea tow towed boat through. So I'm talking to the, what are they called? Bridge masters?
Bridge operators.
And he's like, okay, you can do it, but you gotta hurry up. So Captain Chris slams it into gear, and we go chasing up the intercoastal. And the bridge guys yelling, hurry, you gotta hurry. And then the marina guys are like, you're in a no wake zone, you gotta stop. And they're whistling. And Chris is like, everybody's yelling at me.
Yeah, that was kind of a conundrum.
Yeah. But we made it through. We followed the sea. They left the bridge open. We followed it through. And then there was one more bridge after that that we followed him through. So that worked out pretty well.
It was funny.
The
We
openings.
met some people that we really like here, a couple boats down where we're at now, and he judged his day as being successful or not by how many times he was flipped off per day. So he was like, I was only flipped off twice today. It was a good day.
But we're not trying to do that.
No, we're not.
We're trying to be conscientious boaters. We slow down for anybody that's on the paddleboard, or anybody that's
fishing
or fishing.
Yeah, but I mean anything over 6 knots on this boat, we're putting out a pretty hefty wake. So it's on throttle, off throttle when you're in the intercoastal, because you do want to be respectful of other people and be mindful of your wake. But
right.
There are times.
But really, after we got through those first two bridges, it was pretty smooth sailing. Mm-hmm. Beautiful houses on both sides, because we went through Jupiter and Juneau and these huge mega mansions with putting greens in their front yards, and
I'm sure
gorgeous.
A lot of the professional golfers, for those of you who follow golf, Tiger Woods and quite a few others have places in Jupiter. That's kind of where they hang out. There's a ton of golf courses there. We're actually going to play one of them tomorrow.
Yeah, that'll be fun. So we kept going. We crossed the St. Lucie River, which comes, like if you come from Lake Okeechobee across, and then it goes through Stewart, and it crosses, and people join on the intercoastal from there. So we crossed over that. We really didn't have any other issues. We pulled into Fort Pierce Municipal City Marina, it's called.
Which is gorgeous.
We got here at like 3:00, and we went slow. I mean, we only averaged like 6 or 7 knots on the way up here. We just cruised because it was gorgeous. Yeah, we pulled into the marina, and the dock hands were very helpful once we figured out which dock slip we were backing into.
Yeah.
And had everybody here is super friendly.
Yeah.
So that's where we're at right now in Fort Pierce at the marina.
The book that we're following, the Great Luke book, or you can buy books, they highly recommended this marina, and we know why. They're floating docks, they're concrete, they're well protected. There's lots of restaurants, places to go, parks. And we've been to a farmer's market, and we've been to
the first Friday of every month they have Friday Fest, and it just happened that we got here on the first Friday. So bands and tents with food and drinks, and it was just it's been really fun so far.
Mm-hmm.
So we did that. We ate at there's a little tiki bar restaurant called Cobb's Landing. We went there right away and had a margarita and some tuna nachos and
they were
coconut
good.
Shrimp, and they were delicious.
The tuna nachos down here, I mean, we talked about the ones that we had at Marker 88 that we loved.
Oh, yeah.
These here were just as good. a little more spicy.
Yeah, they have a kick to them.
A little kick to them, but um, it was a nice dinner.
Yeah. And then Saturday morning, we got up and they had a farmer's market, and it's supposed to be like one of the 5 largest farmers markets in Florida, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we did that and we walked around and bought a couple items from the locals, and then it's also Oyster Fest weekend that we just had, so that was an experience.
Yeah, it was hot that day. That Saturday, August 2nd, was pretty hot down here, and there were thunderstorms that were popping up. Um, so, we were kind of in and out of cells, basically. We did see some some manatees
Oh yeah, 2 manatees.
in the marina. They were just kind of cruising around. I jumped in the water and got under the boat just to do some inspecting and some cleaning. Our stern thruster is supposed to get installed this week, so I wanted to make sure that the props on the stern thruster were clean. So I went down and cleaned those up. I was probably in the water 45 minutes or so.
Yeah.
Cleaning messing around with that.
Doing some scraping.
And then we went to Krabby's for dinner. We had oysters. They had a dozen for $10. And we had some interesting the way they were corn
chowder.
They were like corn chowder oysters,
saute.
Kind of like a grilled oyster. I'm sure you guys have had grilled oysters before, but this kind of had a corn,
crunchy, kind of crusty.
Yeah, Parmesan cheese kind of.
I think the best was still they also had $10 steamed shrimp. And it was a half pound of peel and eat, but they were the Royal Reds, so they taste like lobster with the butter sauce you dip in. That was like really delicious.
And I know our friends down in Mobile.
Yeah,
I know all about Royal Reds. They're actually the ones who introduced us to them. So they're deep water shrimp and they're delicious.
They are very good. So we'll be back there for sure. Again, yeah. So I'm trying to think anything else we put the dinghy in last night and took our first dinghy adventure. So we went out under the bridge and went out the inlet that comes in for Fort Pierce and had beautiful sunset dinghy cruise. So that was fun.
It was, yeah, nice sunset. We got some good pictures. We'll get those posted for you.
Yeah. And the only other thing wildlife wise that I have found really interesting, and we found out after talking to some friends on our dock exactly what it is, but since we've been in Florida, I have noticed this. It almost sounds like Rice Krispies crackling, or like bacon sizzling in a pan. Just this really strange noise, and of course Chris couldn't hear it because of his hearing condition, and he has no hearing aids right now. So we were talking about it out on the dock, and they said what it is, it's actually shrimp, that when they put their claws together, it creates a bubble. And as the bubble, what's the word? Cavitates. As the bubble bursts, it makes this snapping sound. So you can hear it all along your hall. Like if you're in the bathroom and it's quiet, you just hear this almost like a campfire cracking noise, but it's loud, and it's surprising that shrimp can make that loud of a noise. So they're called snapping shrimp, I guess.
Yeah, and well, the other weird thing too are the fish here. They like run into your boat. I don't know what's up with that, but they kind of like flap against your boat. I don't know if they're trying to knock stuff off of it to eat it or what they're doing, but fish are acting a little strange.
Yeah, they are.
in the marina.
So that's been fun.
Yeah.
Interesting, different.
And then yesterday, Sunday, we like weekends. We like being more on the boat and doing stuff. It's kind of those are our work days now, just to stay away from the crowds and everywhere else. And then we go play during the week. But yesterday, had a lazy morning, nice breakfast on the boat. Had some minor to-dos that we messed around with, watched golf, and took the dinghy ride. So it was stayed in the air conditioning. And today
we're going on a bike adventure today.
Yeah, today we're going to get the electric bikes out and historic Pierce is Fort Pierce. The historic area is really nice. Just imagine, another Milford or another quaint town with little nooks and crannies and places to shop. And I'm going to go hit a jewelry store. I got to get my dive watch battery replaced. So today is going to be just an explore on the bike day, and I'm sure we'll find some place to grab a late lunch or early dinner.
And then tomorrow we're playing golf.
Tomorrow, yeah, we're actually playing Wanamaker. So my friends out there who are into golf, you know what that means. They had a PGA event there that was actually on TV this year. So we're gonna go over and knock Wanamaker out and see how that goes. Really looking forward to that. We got 12:10 tee times, and then hang out up in that area and grab some dinner. So we'll let you know how that goes.
And I think that catches us up.
Yeah, that's about 22 minutes. I think that's long enough. Appreciate you guys tuning in, and we'll be sure and check with you next week.
Remember to hit subscribe so you know when we do a new podcast.
Bye,
See
guys.
you guys.